All right, race fans, welcome to TurnLeftTV. Be ready for some high-speed action tonight. Step on the gas. All right, race fans, welcome to sunny Phoenix. This is TurnLeftTV, and I'm your host, Heath Johnson. The Saturday Night Thunder heads to Phoenix tonight. 200 laps. Race number 4 in that first season of 2021. 5 turns on this track. No, it's a dog leg. No, I think it's 5 turns. This is the Saturday Night Thunder. It's live, and it's right here on TurnLeftTV. Well, some more stock car action headed your way this evening here on TurnLeftTV. It's the Saturday Night Thunder. Little Cup cars in action at Phoenix. All right, hey, thank you so much for coming in. All right, we got a good one for you tonight. Little Saturday Night Thunder headed your way. Sunny Phoenix. A little bit of a long race headed your way here at Phoenix. 200 lapper tonight in the Saturday Night Thunder. We got about 4.5 minutes left in the practice session. Guys are talking about how slick this track is, so be interesting to see how they make adjustments. And again, thank you for coming in. I'm your host, Heath Johnson, the broadcaster, commentator, and this is Phoenix International Raceway, located in Avondale, Arizona. 200 laps tonight, just a little over a mile in length. It's race number 4 of the 10-race season. And again, I think it's 5 turns, man. I mean, really, that dog leg really acts as another turn. So, very unique track here, and excited about this race tonight. Thanks so much for coming in. Again, we will look at the track here. Banking in the turns 1 and 2 at 10 to 11 degrees. Banking in 3 is at 8 degrees. Turn 4, 8 to 9 degrees progressive. Dog leg, that's right, dog leg. We'll just call that turn 5. Banking in the turn 5, or the dog leg, is at 10 to 11 degrees. Backstretch, 10 degrees. Front stretch at 3 degrees. So this guy got banking all over this track, man. It's a challenging track, a fun track. Tell you what, man, fun, really fun in the Indy cars. A perfect track for Indy cars. Just about the right length. Thank you so much for coming in to TurnLeftTV and checking the broadcast out tonight. We got 2 broadcasts today, man. Can I do it? Can I make it through this one? I had a little nap here in the interim, and now we are getting after it. Here tonight in the Saturday Night Thunder. So flew all the way down to, where was I? I was in Brazil earlier, and now I'm in Phoenix. That's the miracle of the internet, huh? Hey, thanks for coming in. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Thumbs up. Always like to see that. Please hit the thumbs up button. Share my videos with all your friends. And let's have a good time here tonight. Peace to everybody out there. Hope everybody's having a great weekend here. We got a weekend packed full of racing. And I am glad that you're spending a little time with me here on TurnLeftTV tonight. Coming up next Friday, we'll be at Riverside International. Talking about the sunny track, huh? Riverside International, that's located in California, at least was located in California. Coming up on March the 12th. It's race number 8 in the 2020 Winter 2 season. Actually, it's the Winter, we'll call it Season 1 of 2021. How about that? Race number 8 in that season. 35 laps from Riverside, a great road course that we wish they would have kept. So we kept it alive in the virtual world, and Bushwhacker Series will be back at it. And then on Saturday, March the 13th, we'll be in Dubai. Man, we're going from sunny to hot and sunny to dry and sunny. Dubai Autodrome in the High Octane Racing League GT3 Series. 50-minute race there. It's race number 5 in the season, and Dubai is a great track, man. A lot of room to race here. Big track, very technical track, so it's going to be a fun one. High Octane Racing League GT3 Series in action on Saturday, March the 13th, live right here on TurnLeftTV. Practice session is over. We'll take a look at the session results. Paul Brown, the top time there in practice, 25.552. See Bardelli Jr., 91 car in second there. Fastest out. Well, looked like that. Actually, they ran the same exact time. Look at that. Preston Hassel third. And Palumbo fourth in practice. Will Dunbar fifth. Good run here for him. Jesus Iglesias sixth. In the 2X car, John Stanley 7th, Tim Lansbury 8th, Reese Canaday 9th, Ernan Gio 10th in practice. Now rolling it over to the qualification session. We'll take a look at the schedule here in the Saturday Night Thunder. Atlanta Motor Speedway coming up next week, 150 laps there from that great track. Bristol Motor Speedway, Martinsville, and Richmond. 3 short tracks hitting you in the face. 20th, 27th, and then April 3rd. Finishing out that short track stint. 3 short tracks in a row. Talladega Super Speedway coming up on April the 10th. And then finishing out the season at Kansas. No place like home. There's no place like home with the Wizard of Oz on April the 17th. Take a look at the side-by-side, make sure that's working just fine. Looks like it is. That is great news. You got Lucas Simpner in the 21 car on the left side there. Jesus Iglesias in the the 2X car making their qualification attempts. Take a look at the 80 of Reese Canaday as he makes his qualification attempt here in the Hooters-sponsored Chevy Camaro. Givaldo Linares joining us in the chat session. Also, Claudio Bardelli Jr., thanks so much for coming in and chatting us up here. So, Givaldo says, prestigious from the stands. Claudio and Jesus, he is rooting for them tonight. Good luck to all the pilots, but especially Claudio and Jesus. He must owe them money. Look at John Stanley, new paint scheme there. Going to do a little bit of work on that door number there, but painted that car up for him a couple weeks ago. Take a look at John Stanley. 9th place run for him so far. Ed Palumbo out on the track here on that Mellow Yellow sponsor machine. Let's see where he lands. 25.415 is that first lap here. So let's see what he's got for lap number 2. Looks like Ed Palumbo's second on the grid. Second lap for the 54 coming off turn 4 down the front stretch, and 25.516. Still second on the grid for Ed Palumbo. Ernan Gio in the 30 car with his qualification attempt. Looks like he'll be the last driver to qualify. Right now 11th on the grid, 26.314. So Ernan in the 30 car. Team Milka will start in the 11th position. Well, who got the big win last week? That was John Stanley. How about that, man? What a great race this was, man. Claudio Bardelli Jr., Preston Hassel battling it out for the second position. And I tell you what, John Stanley had to earn this one. And coming off the turn and getting into the wall there a little bit for the 27 and the 91. But the 12 of John Stanley taking home the victory last week at Las Vegas. What a great run for the 12 car. We'll see if he can't do the two-peat, huh? Last week did it in the Chevy and switching over to Ford now, so we'll see how he handles that Ford around Phoenix. Congratulations to John Stanley, Las Vegas winner in the Saturday Night Thunder.
Soul.
Don't forget to join us at highoctaneracing.net. You'll get updates of points and what race is coming up. Also, action shots of the winners. Also, you can see current times that the guys are running at the various tracks throughout the week. And a direct link to TurnLeftTV. And again, thank you so much for coming in. Tonight's race brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. What an rFactor 2 server. They got 3 servers, self-managed servers to choose from. Great connections. rFactor 2 servers from EliteHostingUSA.com. Now don't forget to check out ZiaComics.com. They are your nerd headquarters. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. That is ZiaComics.com, your nerd headquarters. Bushwhacker Series coming up on Friday, March the 12th, race number 8 of the season. 35 laps from that great road course that used to exist in California. It still exists in the virtual world, thank heavens, and we're going to be racing it on Friday in the Bushwhacker Series. It'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV. We'll take a look at the season standings coming into tonight. Ed Palumbo, 125 points, 6-point lead over Paul Brown. Claudio Bardelli Jr., 3rd in points. John Stanley with the big win last week, 4th in points. Preston Hassel, pretty good run here for him so far, 5th in points. Diago Gomez is 6th. Reese Kennedy 7th. Leon Ganari is 8th in points. Will Dunbar 9th. And Johan Tavares is 10th in points. GT3 Series back in action on Saturday, March the 13th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Should be a fun race. That'll be live right here on TurnLeft TV. Man, this GT3 Series just gets after it, man. And Dubai has got a lot of room to race there. And I think you have hot, dry conditions. Very technical track, but again, a lot of room to race. Going to be a lot of speed in these GT3 cars here at Dubai. So that's coming up on Saturday, March the 13th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, right here live on TurnLeft TV. Thanks so much for coming in. Also, check out our side-by-side view here, and it looks like that's working. And peace to everybody out there in sim racing world. Don't forget to help us out here on TurnLeft TV by going down into the description of this race and clicking on the link there, following it over to the Fanatec website if you're interested in purchasing some racing gear and interested in a Fanatec wheelbase, pedals, shifter, you name it. Please give those guys a look and use that link. Help me out here at TurnLeft TV. Thanks to all those folks who have done so. Really appreciate your help. And I have the Fanatec equipment myself. I got a DD1 wheelbase, the BMW GT2 wheel rim, the shifter, and then a V3 inverted pedals, and love it, man. Really, really love that stuff. So again, please support TurnLeft TV. If you decide to purchase something through them, please help me out and click on that link. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TurnLeftTV, Facebook on TurnLeftTV1. And then if you'd like to join the High Octane Racing League Discord, it is right there. So type that address in and then send us a shout and we'll get you hooked up. All right. Looks like flipping it over to warm up here. We'll take a look at the qualification session. Here's the top times. Paul Brown qualifies in P1 with a 25.314. Ed Palumbo starts outside pole there in second, 25.415. Tim Lansbury qualifies in the third position. Claudio Bardelli Jr. qualifies in fourth. Preston Hassel qualifies in the fifth position. See, Reese Canada in that 80 car qualifies in sixth. Will Dunbar in the 88 will be seventh on the grid when we start things. Jesus Iglesias 8th. Lucas Sinfler qualifies in the 9th position. And John Stanley qualifies in 10th. Qualifying in the 11th position is Ernan Gio. And Gilmar Pochotto in the 8X machine will start in 12th. Looks like these guys are going to start getting a few laps in here in the warm-up session. Jesus Iglesias joining in the chat session as well. Looks like saying hello to everybody. So good luck to Jesus tonight in his effort here in the Saturday Night Thunder. And about 9 minutes left to go here in warm-up. Take a look at the 91. This is Claudio Bardelli Jr. as he gets some practice laps in. Got just a little under 5 minutes left to go here in the warm-up session. Thank you for coming in and watching Turn Left TV tonight. The Saturday Night Thunder coming at you here. I'm your host, Heath Johnson, the broadcaster, the commentator. Race number 4 of 10. A little over a mile in length is Phoenix Raceway. 200 laps tonight, a little bit of a longer race. So hopefully got rested up, got some calisthenics in, maybe got stretched out, ready to go here. So those of you who are watching it live, thank you for coming in here tonight. Take a look at the schedule coming up. Phoenix International, of course, tonight. Atlanta Motor Speedway next week. You see Bristol Motor Speedway, Martinsville, and Richmond. 3 short tracks in a row starting on March the 20th through April the 3rd. Talladega on April the 10th, and in Kansas Speedway on April the 17th to finish out the season. So new season here, approaching halfway, and we have a score to settle tonight with Phoenix International. Racing below the yellow line in the dog leg tonight is, and I repeat, is permitted. Take a look at this track here. You see that dog leg there between 2 and 3, and they're going to let them race below the yellow line. See Lucas Sinfiner, 21 car there, going down below the yellow line there. As long as you don't cause an accident, you got to be very careful, but racing below that yellow line is permitted. About just a little under 2 minutes left to go before we get the command to start the engines. Get your winners picks in now. I am going with the 21 car here tonight to win this race. So get my pick in here, and my prediction is going to be the 21 of Lucas Sinfiner to win this race tonight. He got a big win last night in the Bushwhacker Series. Can he make it 2 in a row? Well, that's my pick to win this race. All right, boys and girls, it is that time. Time to get these things tightened up here and ready to go. Get up on the wheel. Pull those belts tight. And let's get started. So tonight, 200 laps at Phoenix. Sunny Phoenix. located in Avondale, Arizona. Race number 4 of that first season of 2021.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Looks like somebody got booted out here, so they're going to restart, I believe, to let that individual join. So again, 200 laps tonight. Phoenix International. These guys are restarting. Somebody got booted at the break here. It looked like so.
Attention grid, all non-
All right, boys and girls, are you ready? I am ready. Guys are joining the grid here now, and we'll look at the starting order. Here tonight in the Saturday Night Thunder, Paul Brown in the 70 car starts in P1. Ed Palumbo in the 54 starts second. Tim Lansbury in the 82 will be third. Claudio Bardelli Jr. starts in the 4th position. In 5th is Preston Hassel. Reese Kennedy starts in the 6th position. In the 80 car, Will Dunbar 7th, and Jesus Iglesias will start in the 8th position. Lucas Sinfner in the 21 car starts in 9th. John Stanley will start in the 12th position. Ernan Gio starts in 10th position. Ernan Gio's 11th. Gilmar Peixoto will start in the 12th position. All right, boys and girls. 200 laps here tonight at Phoenix. A little bit longer race. So guys are kind of reporting a little bit of, loose condition here, maybe entering the turn. So going to have to be careful here. All right, pace car is going in. Here we go. The 70 and the 54 side by side for this start.
Green flag, go, go, go.
All right, green, green, green. Paul Brown gets off to a good start there on the bottom side. 54 Ed Palumbo up high in that mellow yellow sponsor machine. Tim Lansbury running into 3rd position in that 82 car, that Skyline Chili Ford Mustang. On board here with Tim Lansbury as he looks ahead at Ed Palumbo. See, he's deciding to race above that yellow line there, so you may start seeing guys diving below that yellow line here later tonight. 27, Preston Hassel. Also in one of those Ford Mustangs running in the 4th position. Claudio Bardelli Jr. just behind him in 5th. Paul Brown, the race leader. Take a look at Claudio Bardelli Jr. here in the 91 car. Right now running in the 5th position. Just behind him is the 88 of Will Dunbar, looking out of the back of Claudio Bardelli Jr.'s machine at that 88. Will Dunbar there looking like he wants to get by. Jesus Iglesias running in the 7th position. Reese Kennedy in 8th. Lucas Simpler in 9th. We are tight right here. Some guys brushing the wall. Jesus Iglesias looking like he wants to try to peek through here and get around this 88 car. So again, dropping below the yellow line is permitted. Jesus Iglesias dropping down there just a little bit. The problem is you kind of diving into that turn. Diving into the turn here. 88 there, going to give up a spot. He's going to try to cross him over. So good battle here. The 2X and the 88. Lucas Simpler and the 80 also back there too, battling it out. Claudio Bardelli Jr. likes what he sees out of the back of his car. As the 2X pulls off that pass, now in 6th. Will Dunbar falls back to the 7th position. Reese Kennedy up high here as Lucas Simpler trying to make a pass on the bottom side. Reese Kennedy and that Hooters sponsor machine, and 21 Lucas Simpler running in the 9th position. So things getting a little racy here early on. Let's take a look at Ernan Gio in the 30 car, Team Milka Toyota. Right now running in the 11th position. Paul Brown is the race leader here. He's got a pretty good lead here on the field. 1.5 seconds, so can they reel him in? Tim Lansbury running in the 3rd. You see Ed Palumbo is 2nd here. We'll take a look at Ed Palumbo running in P2 in his 54 car. Guys kind of stretched out here a little bit. Paul Brown in command. Again, Ed Palumbo running in P2. Got a little battle here. Lucas Simpler and Reese Kennedy had been battling it out here a little bit. Take a look at this. Luca going up to the high side. Reese Kennedy down on that bottom side. Lucas trying to make this pass. That Hooters sponsor machine down on the bottom side. There's the 21 of Lucas Simpler. Team Soldier Boy getting by and taking that spot. So now moving up to the 8th position as Reese Kennedy now having some more on his plate with the 12 of John Stanley. Running in that Stanley Tools Ford Mustang, getting by the 80 car. So the 80 of Reese Kennedy now back to the 10th position as John Stanley moves up to 9th. Take a look at Tim Lansbury here running in the 3rd position in the 82. Right now 1.5 seconds behind P2. About 4 seconds behind the leader. Paul Brown leading the field. Preston Hassel, right now good top 5 run for him, running in that 27 car in 4th. Got just about a second between he and P3. Claudio Bardelli Jr. though is starting to put a little pressure here on the 27 car, so good tight battle here between the 27 and the 91. See that 91 backing up the corner there, and he's going to get a good run here off the turn. See if he can't maximize that. So a little bit different strategy out of the 27 and the 91. 27 now going to leave that door open there for the 91. The 91 going down to the bottom side here. A little Camaro versus Mustang. So on board here with Preston Hassel as the 91. Claudio Bardelli Jr. zips by. Preston Hassel now back to the 5th position as Claudio Bardelli Jr. moves up to 4th. Take a look at that 91 car as he makes that pass. Now in the 4th position. Take a look at Ed Palumbo here again running in the 2nd position. He is 2.7 seconds behind the race leader. So Paul Brown, the race leader, extending that lead. It's looking pretty solid right now. He has come prepared. Look at this, who's in the chat session. Michael Brooks coming in here and joining us. I am doing well. A little tired here, been a busy day. full day of broadcasting, a little bit of rest, got a turkey pot pie, and we're back at it. So, Paul Brown here now starting to roll up on some lap traffic. That is Gilmar Peixoto. Take a look at him in the 8X machine, now going one lap down. Ernan Gio already on pit lane. Interesting strategy for Ernan Gio. And we got a yellow flag here as the 8X comes around. So the 8X, Gilmar Peixoto spinning that car around here. Very interesting. That's not going to help Ernan Gio. It looks like actually he retired his machine, so I'm not sure what happened to Ernan. He might have spun as well. So Gilmar may be having some steering issues as he can't get that car turned around here. Paul Brown going to come around and take the caution flag in the 70 car. We'll see what happened here to Gilmar Peixoto. Gilmar coming into the turn. He just loses the back end of that car, and the thing's going to snap around on him right there. Now he's trying to get this thing straightened back up. Some of those guys zipping through there. So Gilmar Peixoto coming around there. Paul Brown is the race leader. And Palumbo in second at 54.82. Tim Lansbury third. Claudio Bardelli Jr. in the fourth position. Preston Hassel is fifth. Iglesias running in the sixth position. Will Dunbar is in seventh. John Stanley, 8th. Luca Simpfner in the 9th position. Reese Kennedy in 10th. These guys all coming down pit road here, taking some service. On board here with P1, Paul Brown. Kind of an odd pit lane here. You got a little bit of curve there, so definitely makes for some odd pit stop strategy. See Paul Brown, Ed Palumbo.
Road will be open this time.
Lucas Simpson shown as the race leader right now in this 21 car. Reese Kennedy second. Ed Palumbo third. Paul Brown is fourth. Claudio Bardelli fifth. Now Luca coming down pit lane. 8X. Gilmar Peixoto also coming down pit lane. So with that, we'll give the race lead to the 80 of Reese Kennedy. Reese Kennedy in the 80, the race leader here, and Gilmar Peixoto on pit lane, coming back out on track. Ernan Gio has retired his machine, unfortunately. What a tough break there for Ernan Gio, as you see Gilmar Peixoto coming back out on track after making pit stop. Looks like Reese Kennedy going to come down pit lane here. In the 80 car, so he's making that dash down pit lane here just before we go back green. So Ed Palumbo looks like he had a little bit better pit stop there, beat the 70 out. And Ed Palumbo now choosing that bottom line here, maybe? I don't know. Maybe a little cat-mouse game here between the 54 and the 70. So the 54 of Ed Palumbo, the Mel Yellow sponsor machine. Will lead the field here to take the green flag. Paul Brown in the 70 up on the outside line here. All right, 50 mile an hour is that pace road speed, or pace speed. Here we go, back to green. Reese Kennedy getting a penalty. He may have sped on pit lane, so wow, what a tough break there for him. So good battle here, 50 and the 70, man. These guys are after it, and Paul Brown is wanting around the 54 car all over the back of Ed Palumbo here. So Paul Brown there really seems like he has got the better car right now. So we'll see how this works out as the track starts to rubber in and, this track changes. So here we go as we got some lap traffic just ahead. Ed Palumbo trying to figure out where he's going to go. Looks like he's going down to the bottom line as the Gilmar Peixoto and the 8X machine up high. Let these guys go here. So Ed Palumbo, Paul Brown here battling it out as 54 right now leading the field. Paul Brown in second. Preston Hassel running in the third position in that 27 car. He's not too far behind, about 1 second behind the race leader. Bardelli Jr. in fourth. John Stanley in fifth. Take a look at Will Dunbar here in the 88 car. He and John Stanley have a little bit of a battle right there. Let's see Claudio Bardelli Jr. in this mix too. So fourth, fifth, and sixth on board with our sixth place car, Will Dunbar, right now. Lucas Simpler and the 82 of Tim Lansbury having a battle here. A couple Fords battling it out. Looks like the 21 going to take that position. Lansbury back to the 8th spot as Lucas Simpler takes over seventh position. See those guys going by the lap traffic there of Gilmar Peixoto. Reese Kennedy here coming back out on track after serving his drive-through penalty, so he's down a lap or so. And he's behind the 8 ball a little bit, but fortunately for him, he's in the lucky dog position, so if there is a yellow flag, he has that lucky dog locked up. Take a look at the 88 here, Will Dunbar, as just ahead of him. I'll tell you what, and John Stanley here starting to make it look like he wants to get around here. So John Stanley here starting to peek around on that 91 car. Gilmar Peixoto. 91 Claudio Bardelli Jr. I saw Gilmar out of the on the grid there. So 12 John Stanley. 91 Claudio Bardelli Jr. Good run here for the two of them. Stanley Tools sponsored machine looking pretty strong here tonight, and now in 5th. Bardelli Jr. is in the 4th position. Take a look at that 91 car in 4th. Tell you what, man, John Stanley is really peeking around here on this 91. Take a look at the back of the 91 car at John Stanley's machine. Bardelli Jr. looks like he may be a little bit better off the turn. Getting in, John Stanley really kind of runs up on him, but I think he scrubs off some speed there through the turn, and Bardelli Jr. able to kind of stretch that out again. We get about 2.1 seconds between Bardelli and Hassel. Preston Hassel running in 3rd. He's got about just under a second between he and Paul Brown running in the 2nd position. Ed Palumbo here, he's made some changes on that car. He's starting to run away here a little bit on the 70. So, kind of wonder, is the 70 car, Paul Brown, is he, on a little bit tire save strategy? What's the deal here with him? Because Ed Palumbo is now out to a half a second lead on Paul Brown. Paul Brown was really out like gangbusters there on that first run. So maybe the track's changed a little bit, not sure. But whatever the case may be, Ed Palumbo now seems to be the strongest car on the course here. Back here, take a look at Tim Lansbury in the 82 car, running in the 8th position. Got a pretty tight little battle here as Lansbury looking out of the front of his car at Lucas Simpner, who's starting to roll up on that 88 as well. So things starting to get a little racy here, tighten up. You see the different entrances strategies there between Simpner and the 88 of Will Dunbar. So coming off turn 4, and both seem to be scrubbing off a little bit of speed here to this 82. Is starting to show a little bit of strength here later in this run here. So maybe these tires are coming in for Lansbury. See him rolling up on the 21 car in a hurry here. So the 21 may be having some handling issues maybe. Well, he dropped back there pretty quickly and maybe just missed a couple turns, but Lansbury looks to be the stronger car between the two right now. So he has closed in on Lucas Simpner. Tim Lansbury now starting to peek around here. Can he get by the 21 car? So good battle here between the 21 and the 82. Lucas Simpner in the 21 is in 7th. The 82, Tim Lansbury, running in the 8th position. Stretching it back out there. So Simpner there maybe gathered his thoughts now. Stretching that back out just a little bit. And we got a yellow flag here. Yellow flag. Our second one of the evening, and that is not what the 54 of Ed Palumbo wanted to see. He had a pretty strong car there, a little bit of a lead there on Paul Brown. And we got a caution flag here on lap 37. So, taking that caution flag, we'll have to see what happened here. Take a look at the Gilmar Peixoto, and again, coming up the track, and he just breaks loose. Gets up in the gravel there, and another self-spin, almost in the same spot that he spun before, I think. So the 8X of Gilmar Peixoto has to retire his machine. That is his second caution flag. Unfortunate there for Gilmar in the 8X machine. So just got that car a little bit loose and twisted that thing around there. So back to live as a 54 of Ed Palumbo, the race leader. So unfortunate for Gilmar Peixoto, and he's going to retire his machine. So second caution flag, and hey, let's don't forget, man, coming up on Friday, we'll be back at it, race number 8 in the High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series. 35 laps from Riverside International. Race number 8 coming up on Friday, March the 12th. And that will start at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV. That's right, a little road course action headed your way from Riverside. What a great track for stock cars. Great road course for stock cars. And it's going to be a lot of fun here. Very unique track. Wish this thing still existed. But we got it at least in the virtual realm. And that'll be hitting you in the face on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on TurnLeftTV. Looks like got a couple of guys coming down pit lane. 54 and the 70 making pit stops. We saw those guys battling it out on pit lane just a little while ago. Kind of Ed Palumbo got the better of that pit stop last time here. We'll see if he can't get the better right there. Looks like he does. At 70 going to come out. You see Preston Hassel, Claudio Bardelli Jr., John Stanley with a good pit stop there. 88 of Will Dunbar coming out. 2X Jesus Iglesias going to follow him. You see Tim Lansbury in the 82 coming out as well.
The road will be open this time.
Good news for the 80 car of Reese Canaday. Reese Canaday getting that lucky dog, and so Reese Canaday, he's pitting his car, and he's now on pit lane. So he got the lucky dog. So congratulations to Reese Canaday for picking up that lucky dog, getting back on the lead lap. So all right, 54 at Palumbo winning the battle off pit lane, starting in P1 here on this restart, 41 laps in. Don't forget, coming up on Saturday, March the 13th, we'll be back at it with the High Octane Racing League GT3 Series, Dubai Autodrome. What a fun track, big track, a lot of room to race here, very fast track. Coming up on Saturday, March the 13th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, the High Octane Racing League's GT3 Series will be back in action and live right here on TurnLeftTV. Had a great race today at Curitiba. All right, I would suggest to you that we're going to be going green this time by. You see the 54 on the bottom line is 70. Going to start up on the high line. Preston Hassel in third. Bardelli Jr. in the fourth position.
Green flag, go, go, go.
Here we go, back to green. Before they're off to a good start there. Preston Hassel going to try to tuck in and maybe get that second position. Battle there between Paul Brown and Preston Hassel coming off the turn. Look at that, 70 and the 27 to 70 get a good run there on the outside line, and he's got a run here toward the lead. Is he going to try to get by this 54 car here on the restart? Clean air seems to be king here tonight with the 54 out front, and whoever is leading seems like they have the advantage of that clean air. Tim Lansbury here in a hornet's nest. He is in a hornet's nest right there. 2X Iglesias is a little bit looser getting into the turn. You saw that thing get a little wiggly there. On board here with Tim Lansbury in the 82 car. Looking ahead out of his machine at Iglesias in the 2X, and also Will Dunbar in that 88 car. Dunbar looking like he wants to get around Claudio Bardelli Jr. up there. See right there, Iglesias getting a good run down into the turn. He's going to scrub off a little bit of speed here, I think, coming off, and got a different strategy, that's for sure. We'll take a look at Will Dunbar here in the 88 car. That Dell sponsor machine running behind Claudio Bardelli Jr. So good battle here between the 88 Microsoft Ford Mustang and the 91 of Claudio Bardelli Jr. Looking out of the back of Will Dunbar's machine at Jesus Iglesias in the 2X machine. Jesus really liking to go down to that bottom line there, and you got to be careful, I think, if you're the 88. You got to recognize that and realize that he might not be able to react in time and maybe get into that right rear quarter panel. But you see he's scrubbing off speed. Iglesias is scrubbing off speed. He's got to, oh, right there it is! Right there it is! Oh, man, I tell you what, he straightened him back up, and he got into the back of the 88 car. I tell you, I saw that coming, didn't I? I saw that coming. Holy smokes. Iglesias got into the back of the 88 car. We'll take a look and see what happened here. Iglesias, big run right into there and gets into the back of the 88. The 82 gets by, almost gets into the back of Iglesias. Take a look here as Iglesias gets a heck of a run here, but again, gets down a little bit low and gets into the back of that 88 car. 88 have been sort of doing that, and I said, you're going to have to be careful here. We got to spin as we're watching the replay there. So, tell you what, Lansbury, look at out of the front of his car. Watch this. Choo, man, right there. I can't believe those guys didn't get together. So back to live. We got another caution flag here, indicating that maybe Tim Lansbury might have come around. We'll see what happened here to Tim Lansbury in the 82 car. Tim Lansbury. Oh, and Peixoto get together right there. Jomar Peixoto. Oh, Reese Kennedy absolutely annihilates the 82, and then the 82 clipping another car there. So, man, I'll tell you what, right here, it looks like Peixoto comes down pretty solidly down into the 82 car and chops the front, and then 80 car has nowhere to go right there. And then watch this, the 88 car is going to get clipped right here. Oh, man. Reese Kennedy just absolutely did not have anywhere to go. See this unfolding. He's just trying to pick a lane here, and oh man, just cannot react in time and gets into the 82. And then you see my heavens, gets into the 88, gets into him as well. Back to live here.
Pit road will be open this time. Release that car.
So now we're getting pit stops coming our way here in the on lap 51. So it looks like Ed Palumbo on pit lane. Also on pit lane is Paul Brown. Tim Lansbury, I think, has retired his machine. A little frustration tonight for Tim Lansbury, it looks like. Claudio Bardelli Jr. getting off pit lane here. So maybe some strategy. Claudio Bardelli Jr. might have done a 2-tire stop.
Pit road will be open this time.
2X. Looks like he's coming down pit lane as well. Simpsoner coming down pit lane. Will Dunbar on pit lane. Ed Palumbo, I think Ed Palumbo is going to be the race leader. Actually, it looks like Bardelli Jr. might be the race leader here as we get things shaken out here. So Iglesias on 2 tires. 54, Ed Palumbo, 4-tire stop. Paul Brown in 3rd. So we're getting some guys here. A little bit extended pit stops here for some of these guys. And a little battle there off pit lane between Reese Kennedy and Will Dunbar. Looks like Reese Kennedy going to fall back to the 9th position as Will Dunbar beats him off pit lane. .91 indicating he's going to start on the inside line. Now this is going to shake things up a little bit because Bardelli Jr. is gambling here. So the 91 of Bardelli Jr. a little bit of a risk for him because I think being on two tires here, 2 fresh tires this early in the race, I don't think you're really going to win something out of this. I think if you got a green flag run, you end up going to sacrificing, and then I think in the short term you may actually have this car be a lot looser, and that could cause some problems. So the 91, Bardelli Jr. on the inside line.
Green flag, green flag.
Here we go, back to green. Ed Palumbo gets a heck of a launch there on the outside line. Oh, the 70 gets right into the back of the 91 car. So good running here as the 27 here starting to fight the 91. 54 gets by. 91 there drifting up the track a little bit. A lot of speed going into the turn. Goes up to the outside line a little bit. And I'm going to use that draft of that 27 car. So the 91 now in the 2nd position. And there was some contact, I think, between Paul Brown and Claudio Bardelli Jr. A heck of a battle here on this bottom line here. Paul Brown and Jesus Iglesias, Preston Hassel all getting after it. Side by side now is the 70 and the 27. 2X machine in this mix. 2X car there up in the outside line, and that may end up giving him a little bit better run here off the turn. He's going to try to split the difference. I don't think he's going to go 3 wide. The 70 car, Paul Brown on the inside line, and now they are a little bit 3 wide right there as Preston Hassel on the outside line. He and the 70 car are going to work together, but that 2X down below here, this is going to get crazy right there. Some contact. 2X. Jesus Iglesias sliding in there. And then there was some payback, I think, right there between the 70 and the 2X machine. Might have been a little payback there between the 70 and the 2X. You saw the 70 got back into the back of the 2X machine. 12 of John Stanley here trying to figure it out. Here we are on lap 59. These guys racing like it's the last lap.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And it's 27 car turns the 2X machine. So the 54 Ed Palumbo, this mellow yellow sponsor machine, still leading, man. He's out where he wants to be. Take a look and see what happened here. So the 27 gets into the back of the 2X machine and spins him right here as the 27 dives down below and gets into the back of that 2X machine and turns him around right there and slam into the wall. Looks like the 2X may be stuck in the wall. Reese Canaday coming around too here. We'll see what happened to Reese Canaday. He gets a little bit loose. Oh, Reese Canaday, a little bit of contact there with the outside wall, or the inside wall. See Palumbo here coming down pit lane. '54 Ed Palumbo, the race leader. He's coming down pit lane. Will Dunbar is going to get a couple bonus points here for leading the lap. So Will Dunbar getting some points for leading some laps here. Senfner in the second position, Reese Canaday in third.
Pit road will be open this time.
So I got both those guys coming down pit lane. 80 also coming down pit lane. I suggest to you he is going to get some service done on that machine. John Stanley now the race leader here. Last week's winner, John Stanley. So we got a big win last week at Las Vegas. What a great race this was. Bardelli Jr., Hassel battling it out there for the second position. Those guys coming off the turn, both of them smacking the wall right there. But John Stanley outlasted those guys and took home the victory. Congratulations to John Stanley on taking that race win. So can he make it two in a row? Well, he's leading the field here right now in the Stanley Tools sponsor machine. Switching manufacturers. So leaving Chevy and moving over to Ford. Big shakeup there in the manufacturers. With the manufacturers there. So that deal between the John Stanley team and Chevy fell through.
It'll be 1 to go this time by.
So John Stanley here is leading the field. 91, Claudio Bardelli Jr. in So we're just a little bit past a quarter away.
Green flag, green flag.
Back
go,
to
go,
green.
Go.
John Stanley, the race leader. John Stanley here looking pretty fast here in this Stanley Tools sponsor machine. Bardelli Jr. in second. Iglesias is in the third position. Paul Brown in fourth. Lucas Simpsoner in the fifth position. Canada in the sixth position. Palumbo in seventh. Dunbar eighth. John Stanley here looking pretty solid. Can he get two in a row? We got a long way to go here. You're on lap 68, and John Stanley, a little bit of pit strategy, getting up to the front here in this Stanley Tools number 12 car. He's got about a 1.2 second lead over Claudio Bardelli Jr. Paul Brown and Jesus Iglesias here getting after it. So Paul Brown in the 70 car going down below that yellow line there. That is fair game here tonight and picks up that spot. Now the 70 car in the third position. And Jesus Iglesias sideways there coming off the turn. Ed Palumbo here trying to get around Reese Kennedy. Ed Palumbo down to the bottom line. Reese Kennedy in the 80 car. Remember, he had smacked the wall there just a little bit, head on into the wall, so that 80 car probably dealing with a little bit of damage. As the 54 here trying to get around Lucas Simpsoner now. This is a tight grouping right here. Stanley continuing to lead, man. He is out front. I think clean air is king here. John Stanley, 1.5 second lead over our second place car, Claudio Bardelli Jr. And Palumbo here getting into the back of the 2X machine right there. So contact between the 2X and the 54. Not sure what happened between those guys. Take a look here as, it looks like the 54 gets into the wall right there. Take a look at this. This a little bit, so Ed Palumbo comes around off the turn and up to the high side, and he might smack the wall right there. He comes off the wall and gets into the 2X right there. And then more contact for the 2X, hard into the wall. So, and then 2X now probably got a little bit of a boogered up race car as 54 Ed Palumbo gets by. Iglesias hard into the wall. John Stanley, like I said, he is out front where he wants to be, away from this disaster that's unfolding behind him. John Stanley, the back end of that car, getting a little bit loose for him, so keep an eye on that Stanley Tools sponsored machine. Paul Brown now catching the 91, Claudio Bardelli Jr., and going down to the bottom side here to make this pass. So Bardelli Jr. in the 91 back to third as Paul Brown pulls off that pass here. We'll take a look at this earlier here as Paul Brown in the 70 car going down to the bottom side and making a run on Bardelli Jr. Bardelli fighting back on the outside line there, getting a pretty good run, but then Paul Brown going to use this backstretch and the dog leg to pull off that pass. And, take the shorter way around the course, and now moves up to the second position. I'll tell you what, man, John Stanley looking out the back of his machine at Paul Brown, who is on a mission right now, running in P2. He is clearly faster than John Stanley right now. And that Mountain Dew sponsored machine with a close in on this Stanley Tools number 12 car. Bardelli Jr. here in third, running in about 1.5 seconds back, running in P3. And Palumbo is in fourth. Sinfoner in the fifth position. We'll take a look at Lucas Sinfoner here, the 21 car, running in P5. Having a pretty good run here. 80 car, Reese Kennedy running in sixth. Reese Kennedy probably got a little bit of damage here. Now, I don't know if Luca has been into the wall or not, but he may be playing that tire save strategy, a fuel save strategy, as we know he is an expert at. So Sinfoner right now running about 2.9 seconds behind the race leader. Stanley now battling Paul Brown as Paul Brown's going to get by. So John Stanley now falling back to the second position as Paul Brown makes that pass. Take a look at that pass there as Paul Brown diving down to the bottom side here. And now into the turn, going to use this bottom line and getting by John Stanley. So now the Mountain Dew sponsored Camaro back to the front. Take a look at Will Dunbar here in the 88 car, running in the seventh position. 5.5 seconds down to the race leader. Just ahead of him is Reese Kennedy in the 80 car. He is running in the sixth position, and out of the front of his machine is Lucas Sinfoner in that 21. So Reese Kennedy does appear to be a little bit stronger than the 21 car here on this, at least in this interim of this run. Now Luca getting a really good launch off the turn there, and Reese Kennedy giving up some spots. So maybe a little bit stronger, a little bit different entry into the turn there for Luca, as he does seem to be holding his own here in that 21 car, the 80 car behind him. So 21 running in the fifth position. Trying to get a good green flag run in here. Take a look at Jesus Iglesias here in the 2X car running in eighth, and he's probably got some damage he's going to need to get fixed there. He and the 54 got together. The 54 there, I think, came off the wall, got into the side of the 2X and kind of slammed him up into the wall. So he's definitely got some damage he's dealing with. So the 2X of Jesus Iglesias trying to limp this thing to a pit stop. last as long as he can here. He is 10.6 seconds down to the race leader. Our race leader is the 70 of Paul Brown. Mountain Dew sponsored Camaro. Caught up to John Stanley and made that pass. Now 1.8 seconds separate the two. John Stanley might have done a two-tire stop, I'll be honest with you. I think he really gained a lot of positions on pit road, and it leads me to believe that he did a two-tire stop, and I think that is probably what explains what's in the looking out of the back of his machine. Here's rear view mirror, and that is the 91 and the 54. So Bardelli Jr. in the Camaro, and Ed Palumbo also in the Camaro, trying to run this Ford down of John Stanley. So watching John Stanley at the wheel as those guys trying to figure out a way around him. And I'll tell you what, Bardelli Jr. going down to the bottom side here. He's starting to sniff around on that bottom side. He is all over the back of this Parts for Trucks sponsored machine. Bardelli Jr.'s got to be careful there, because if he dives down to the bottom side, drifts up. And he gets into the wall right there. Bardelli Jr. got into the wall. And he's got to be careful there. If he dives down to that bottom side, drifts up, he's going to leave that lane open for Ed Palumbo as well. And those guys battling it out here just behind as the 91 and the 54. I said he was going to leave that bottom side open as a couple Camaros here battling it out. And 54 can't pull off that pass. 91 holds on to that position. 54 slung that car down to the bottom side there to look like he was going to try to get that spot and not able to pull it off. 12 car now as Bardelli Jr. dives down to that bottom side and takes that spot using that below the yellow line through the dog leg. Bardelli Jr. clearly faster than the 12 car. At 12, I think he's on two fresh tires there as the 54. At Palumbo, he's going to try to get by this Stanley Tool sponsor machine. So a little mellow yellow 54 going down to that through that dog leg and trying to gain every little spot he can. It looks like he's going to gain that position. And that 12 car is all over the back of him right there. And Palumbo pulls off that pass. We'll take a look at this pass here by Bardelli Jr. as he goes down to the bottom side and down to that dog leg and gets a good run, gets by the 12 car. And Ed Palumbo trying to do that same thing, and then as he comes up, watch this, he's going to pull off that pass. He comes up, he scrubs off a little bit of speed right there, that 12 car trying to get back by. Not able to do it. Back up here live as Ed Palumbo running into the third position. Bardelli Jr. now in P2. So he's looking pretty solid here in the 91 car. 3.2 seconds back to the race leader. And that is Paul Brown in the 70. Approaching halfway here in the 70 car is the race leader, indicating that this track's getting a little slippery here with as much rubber as placed down on this. These guys have been running a lot of practice laps, and now we almost have 100 laps down on this race surface. So on board here with the 70 as he is really working that wheel here, trying to keep this car from coming around. So you see a lot of rubber laid down on this track now. Lucas Sinfiner here in the 21, running in 5th. Keep our eyes on him, man. Long runs are what he likes to see. He wants to see this thing stay green for a long time and let his car come to him and reel these guys in. Reese Canaday in the 80 car here, keeps plugging away. He was a lap down, got the lucky dog back on the lead lap, and now running in the 6th position. Jesus Iglesias coming back out on track after making pit stop here in the 2X machine. Right now running in the 8th position. Down 2 laps. He's on fresher tires here, so he should probably gain a couple positions on the track here as we'll take a look at the 70. Paul Brown. Got a pretty big lead here, 4.5 second lead or so on our 2nd place car. Will Dunbar on pit lane. So we'll take a look here as Will Dunbar makes his pit stop in the 88 car. Right now in P7. Paul Brown extending that lead now to 5 seconds on P2. So really it looks like, I think, a combination. You got a strong car here, but you'll also have a situation where definitely a clean air. Clean air is the place to be. You see that fresh tires of the 2X machine. So 54, we'll take a look at him running in the 2nd position. He's 5.6 seconds off the race lead. Reese Canaday on pit lane. So the 80 car, Reese Canaday and the Hooters sponsor machine on pit lane now. 100 laps to go. So now that lead is 6.4 seconds. Lucas Simpsoner up to the 2nd position. So he's starting to move up as Ed Palumbo now falls back to the 3rd spot. We'll take a look at that pass. Lucas Simpsoner rolling up on the 54 car, diving down to the bottom side. And that's where we've seen most of these guys making moves. Is Luca there trying to hold that car down to the bottom line. Hold serve there, and I suggested he's going to go down. He holds on. Ed Palumbo holding on right there. Luca trying to slip back by. Ed held on. Luca now going to the high side. Just as I mentioned that, most of the guys are going to go down to the bottom side. You see Lucas Simpsoner fighting back on the high side and makes that pass. So Ed Palumbo now falls back to the 3rd position as Luca now up to 2nd. I got to really start looking at Luca and wondering, what are we going to see here as far as time in this run? Is he going to be able to close in here? He's 5.6 seconds back behind the race leader, and we'll kind of see how that time changes from one lap to the next. So Paul Brown in the 70 car. It is dropping down here, so it does look like Luca might have a little bit better stuff here later in the run. So as I mentioned with the 21 car, he likes to save those tires, save that fuel, plan for a big long run, and that's probably a good, good plan here with this track. You got a bunch of guys here who have dropped out either because of accidents or, some of the guys indicating that they are really, really tired here today, and pulled the car over to the side. Nonetheless, we got 7 cars still in the race, and Luca looks to be, right now, the strongest car on the track. Ed Palumbo coming down pit lane here in the 54 car. So Ed Palumbo here on lap 109 taking service as Paul Brown in the 70 continuing to lead 5.2 seconds. So that time has diminished somewhat, about 0.3 of a second here since we last checked. Now Ed Palumbo finishing up that pit stop, coming back out on track. John Stanley on pit lane as well, giving up the 4th position. 90 laps to go. So 70 continuing to lead. Jesus Iglesias in the 2X car on fresh tires going to go around and maybe try to get one of those laps back. Not able to pull off that pass, so Iglesias being very, very conservative here on when and where he makes his pass. Jesus right now running in the 7th position. See him running down on this bottom line here, and he might have the run he needs to get by this 70 car. So he's wanting to get that lap black. Jesus Iglesias not able to get around there. Reese Kennedy now up to the 5th position in that 80 car. So this 80, had a little trouble there at the beginning of the race. Has been able to get that lucky dog, get back out on track, fix that damage, and now in 5th. Maybe shooting for a top 5 here tonight. As the 70 still has Jesus Iglesias there in his zip code as Jesus wanting to get one of those laps back. He is 2 laps down.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
We got a yellow flag here. So we're going to live here and take a look at Jesus Iglesias. He's coming down pit lane. So interesting deal there. Maybe he spun around trying to make a pit stop. Paul Brown will take the caution flag here on lap 114. Take a look and see what happened here. It looks like maybe Jesus might have come around. So Jesus comes around. I think he was trying to make a pit stop here maybe and spins this car. Doesn't get in anything. I think he was actually trying to come down pit lane, I think. We'll see here. So, yes, he does come down pit lane as Jesus Iglesias spinning that car. He just lost the back end of it. I think he was trying to get down on the apron of the track to make a pit stop. And unfortunately brought out the caution flag. Ned Palumbo here getting the lucky dog. He's going to get a lap back there, so good news for him.
Pit road will be open this time for lead lap cars.
So the 70 of Paul Brown making a pit stop.
Pit road will be open this time.
So getting some guys coming down pit lane. It looks like Paul Brown, Ed Palumbo, both. Actually, Paul Brown staying out on the track. Ed Palumbo coming down pit lane. Lucas Simpsoner and Paul Brown staying out. Here on lap 118.
It'll be one to go this time by.
Green flag, go, go, go.
All right, here we go, back to green. Paul Brown, the race leader in the 70 car. Lucas Simpner right there in that 21. $80 laps to go. Bardelli Jr. running in the 3rd position. Palumbo is 4th. Stanley is 5th. Reese Canaday running in the 6th position. So Paul Brown now to a 2nd lead over Lucas Simpner. Ed Palumbo 1.5 seconds back in the 3rd position. Bardelli Jr. running in the 4th position, 2.7 seconds back, and almost 3 seconds back is John Stanley in the 5th position. Kennedy definitely needs a lucky dog here, but with the number of cars left in this race, he may not get it. Sinfner running in the 2nd position. Remember, we know that he is good on these long runs here, so he needs this to stay green. Paul Brown jumping out to the 1.2 second lead. It is tightened out there between Sinfner and the 54 of Ed Palumbo. Tightening up even more there at Palumbo, really rolling up onto the back of the 21 car here. So tight battle here for the 2nd position. Luca there now opening up a little bit of a gap, 1.8 seconds between, actually a little bit more of that now, but one, looks like about almost 2 seconds, 1.8, 1.9 seconds between Lucas Sinfner and Ed Palumbo. Claudio Bardelli Jr. running in the 4th position. John Stanley just behind him in 5th. Bardelli Jr. has been pretty fast here tonight, and remember, he used that 2-tire strategy to get out front, lead some laps, and since then has been running sort of mid-pack. Right now running in the 4th position. Stanley running in 5th. Canaday 1 lap down in the 6th position. So Paul Brown is leading 2.4 seconds, so he has been able to stretch that out a little bit. But 70 laps to go. If this thing stays green, I got to be thinking about this 21 car of Lucas Sinfner. Ed Palumbo running in 3rd. And that's starting to tighten up there a little bit. Ed Palumbo just to 0.8 of a second behind the 21 car. So He did fall back a little bit more, but now starting to close that gap again on Luca. And Luca may very well be on tire save strategy. But this battle is tightening up here. This is for P2. Ed Palumbo running in the third position. Symphony in the second spot. Take a look at the 21. Out of the back of his machine at that 54 of Ed Palumbo. And again, the clean air seems to be the place to be. As Paul Brown continuing to extend that lead. 2.9 seconds now, P1 to P2. It's about 2.7 seconds. Ed Palumbo starting to roll up here on Luca Symphony. I got to be thinking that Luca is just saving some tires. Bardelli Jr. here in the 91. He wants to see that get racy up there ahead of him. Looking out of the front of his machine, about half a turn separates he and P2, P3. Those guys are going to start battling. And Palumbo there starting to sniff around on the low side. Now moving up high, searching for a lane. He's getting a run off the turn, so he's going up to the high side there and using that acceleration off the turn, get a little bit more momentum through the turn, and then a little bit better run down the straights. And he has been able to run down this 21 car. But again, I got to be thinking the 21, given the strategy he usually plays, is probably saving those tires. Take a look at John Stanley here in the 12 car, running in P5. 1.3 seconds separate him and Claudio Bardelli Jr., who is P4. Last week's winner, John Stanley. Wouldn't this be a big deal if he got two in a row, huh? The Stanley Tools sponsor machine now. Good top 5 run for him. 4-second lead for Paul Brown here on lap 139. Canada on pit lane, so Reese Canada making a pit stop in the 80 car. You take a look at Reese Canada as he makes his pit stop. Looks like he's retired his machine. My heavens, man. So he must be a little tired as well tonight. Some guys are tuckered out, it looks like. .60 laps to go here in the 70 car. Paul Brown, the race leader. Palumbo in second. Symphony is in the third position. Bardelli Jr. is fourth. John Stanley in fifth. Still pretty tight battle. See, looks like Ed Palumbo has made that pass on Lucas Sinfoner. Now pulling away here. We'll take a look at this pass here of Ed Palumbo going down to the bottom side. Luca up high. And the 54 of Ed Palumbo making that pass. So maybe Luca, that car not quite to his liking here as Ed Palumbo makes the pass. Lucas Sinfoner now falls back to the 3rd position. So right now, Ed Palumbo running in P2. Paul Brown is the race leader in the 70 car. About 5.9 seconds separate P1, P2. So that clean air has been solid for the race leader all night long. Really doesn't matter who's been up front. That clean air has been great. Bardelli Jr. here now closing in on the 21 car. So Bardelli Jr. in the 91. Nat Camaro getting around the Mustang of Lucas Sinfoner. Sinfoner now falling back to the 4th position. So it looks like on this longer run here, maybe the 21 car falling back some. Palumbo running in P2 here in the Mellow Yellow sponsor machine. Bardelli Jr. in 3rd now. Sinfoner in 4th. John Stanley running in the 5th position. And again, Paul Brown is just continuing to extend that lead. Now up to 6.6 second lead for Paul Brown. Ed Palumbo now 7 seconds back. Bardelli Jr. 9.7 seconds back to the race leader in the 3rd position. Sinfoner in 4th, Stanley in the 5th position. Those are 5 guys still in the race. We've got a pretty big war of attrition here. 49 laps left to go. So Ed Palumbo here in the 54 car running in P2. We'll take a look at the schedule here in the Bushwhackers, or excuse me, the Thunder Cup Series. Saturday Night Thunder. Next week we'll be at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And then Bristol following that. Martinsville on the 27th of March and Richmond on April the 3rd. Talladega Superspeedway on April the 10th, and then finishing out the season in Kansas on April the 17th. So that's the schedule coming up in the Thunder Cup Series. As the 54 of Ed Palumbo in P2. We'll take a look at P3. Here's the 91 of Claudio Bardelli Jr. Guy that gets a lot of laps in, a lot of racing through the week. Watch his YouTube channel. And he's always streaming from his cockpit here And I tell you what, this guy really gets a lot of laps in. He just eats, sleeps, and drinks racing. So right now running in P3. Sinfner in the 4th position. I got to be wondering here about Lucas Sinfner here. He really, normally really good on these long runs, and it seems like Luke in the 21 car has fallen back somewhat. Doesn't seem to be as strong tonight on the long runs in what he normally is. So he's 11.9 seconds down to the race leader. And that is continuing to grow there now, over 12 seconds down. So I got to be thinking that maybe either really gambling here on fuel and tire strategy and giving up a ton of time right now. I wouldn't put it past him, man. He's always thinking. But right now it looks like Paul Brown pretty much in control. And a 9.7 second lead over P2. 9.1 second lead, take that back, over P2. Bardelli Jr. third, 11.2 seconds back. Sinfner 12.6 seconds back in the 4th position. You're on lap 159. Approaching 40 laps to go. So we'll have probably one more pit stop, I would imagine. And see who can make it to the end. We want to see some good green flag pit stops. We've had quite a few caution flags. I'd say 4 caution flags or so. Sort of been a little bit of a messy race. And Palumbo in P2 in the 54 car. John Stanley indicating he's going to be coming down pit lane this time. So we'll take a look at this 12 car as he slows down. And oh, man, I tell you what, he almost lost the back end of that car. So John Stanley and that Stanley Tools sponsored Ford making a pit stop here on lap 161. Indicating 70 car, indicating he's going to be coming down pit lane. Big lead for him right now. You see John Stanley coming back out on track. 70 car on pit lane here on lap 163. Sinfner making a pass here as I think Ed Palumbo has come down pit lane. So Lucas Sinfner now up to the 3rd position. Ed Palumbo on pit lane. Claudio Bardelli Jr. now the new race leader. So Claudio is our race leader. Ed Palumbo has gotten a penalty. He might have been speeding on pit lane. So a little tough break there for Ed Palumbo and a Mellow Yellow sponsor machine. Speeding penalty for the 54, and he's going to have to come back down pit lane, and his pit crew is mad right now. So the 54 is serving a penalty here. Tough break there for the 54 car. Bardelli Jr. in the 91. Our race leader here on lap 165, stretching it out a little bit. Sinfner now up to the second position. About almost 2 seconds separate the two. Paul Brown in third. John Stanley in the fourth spot. Bardelli Jr. right now looking pretty strong. Is extending that lead over Lucas Sinfner. And Palumbo, after serving his penalty, back out on track. Now 2 laps down in the 5th position. Head down to the bottom line here, and a lot of room from Bardelli Jr. Going to let him by. So Claudio looking pretty solid right here on lap 168. Now he's going to have to come back down pit lane. Pretty decent size lead over Simpner, about 2 seconds over the 21 car, and then about 20 seconds on P3. Now P3, Paul Brown has made a pit stop here, so he's good to go, I think, for the rest of the race. I think he's going to be pretty good here. He might have to do one more pit stop. I'm not sure what these guys are getting. Paul Brown indicating that he may know a little bit of information about Bardelli Jr. and Sinfra. These guys might actually be able to make it the rest of the way. We'll see. Very interesting here, adding a little drama in. Now, you know, Paul Brown clearly a lot faster right now than the race leader here. We'll take a look at Paul Brown, looking at he and Lucas Sinfner. 14 seconds back, but he is coming in a hurry here. 30 laps to go. Does he have enough time to be able to run down these guys, get around the 21 car, and maybe catch that 91 of Claudio Bardelli Jr.? 30 laps to go. So 12.6 seconds behind the 21 car, now 12.1. So you're looking at about half a second a lap there for Paul Brown on Lucas Sinfner. But Bardelli Jr. is where he wants to be, and that is out front. Does he have enough fuel to make it to the end? That is a good question. Sinfner now just a second back. Paul Brown 10.6 seconds back. And I think Paul might actually be in a situation where he could very well catch this 91. We'll see. The problem with it is going to be, is he going to have trouble here getting by this 21 car, who is on the move as well? Lucas Sinfner just 1 second back to the race leader. On the move here, so he's trying to catch up to Claudio Bardelli Jr. He wants to try to get the 91 car and put him back, so he's now 0.7 of a second back. Paul Brown 8.8 seconds back in the third position. These guys might be able to go the rest of the way, so this may come down to a last lap here between the 21 and the 91. We'll see. And don't forget about Paul Brown on fresh tires. He's closing in on these guys in a hurry. Now 7.7 seconds back. He might run out of time. And again, he's got to get around these guys. 91, Claudio Bardelli Jr. 21, Lucas Sinfter. They start getting a little racy there, and that's going to help Paul Brown. But I'll tell you what, as long as it stays where it's at here, I think Claudio Bardelli Jr. kind of has to likes where he's at, because Paul Brown, even though he is a lot faster than these guys, he's 6.3 seconds back. He is still going to have to get around who's ever in P2. And that's going to help out that first place driver. 0.4 of a second separating P1, P2. Here on lap 177. Simpner going down to the high side here, so these guys get racy. That's definitely going to help the 70 of Paul Brown. Bardelli Jr. down to the bottom side. Lucas Simpner, the 21, up high. He's going to get a little bit better run here down the backstretch. Using that dog leg just a little bit is the 91. Simpner staying in that high line here now, challenging for the race lead. Side by side, Lucas Simpner up on the high line. He's going to make this pass on Claudio Bardelli Jr. That got tight, but that's going to give Paul Brown a little bit of a shot in his arm. He's now only 4 seconds back, and I told you, man, they're trying to race side by side there. That's going to help him out. So now 3.4, and he is on the move. I think he's got enough time here, because now 179, they've got about 20 laps to go, and Paul Brown really in a good position here to capitalize on these fresh tires. Looking ahead here, he's got to get around John Stanley. Now John Stanley running in the 4th position. He is 1 lap down. Paul Brown here, he sees those guys out of the front of his car. John Stanley probably going to make that car, get that car out of the way and let these guys race it out. The other thing is that how much is the 70 car going to use up his tires? He might be able to catch them, but is he going to be able to do anything with them? Even though these guys are on older tires, Lucas Simpner and Claudio Bardelli Jr. 1-2. 20 laps to go. So we got to be wondering what's going to go on here for Paul Brown. He is closing in a hurry right now. Take a look at this side-by-side view here as John Stanley closing in on these guys. Now, John Stanley, being on fresher tires, can kind of move these guys, rut these guys out of the way here, and that would help Paul Brown out. But he's definitely there, and now they're getting sideways, or side by side, as John Stanley trying to get through. Now Paul Brown going to be mired back in a little bit of traffic here. So good side-by-side view on board here with Paul Brown in P3. Taking a look at Lucas Simpner, the race leader in the 21 car. Paul Brown wants to get through here. Side by side here, Claudio Bardelli Jr. in the 12. John Stanley at our side by side. John Stanley running in the 4th position. He's going to get by Bardelli Jr. Paul Brown's got to try to get through here. Got to be very, very careful. All these guys on old tires. Paul Brown on fresh tires. Stanley down to the inside here. He's going to try to get through. Oh, this is going to get tight right here. Paul Brown getting through. He's getting by Claudio Bardelli Jr. They're still side by side, and I think he's going to get through here. So now he sets his sights on trying to get around John Stanley. John Stanley a little wiggly there. This is not for position here. John Stanley running in the 4th position. He wants to get back on that lead lap here in case there's a caution flag. Paul Brown clearly the fastest car on the track right now. John Stanley going down to the bottom line here. He's trying to race to get his lap back. Lucas Simpner is the race leader. Paul Brown in 2nd. Look at this battle here right now. Luca is in big trouble now with 14 laps to go, and Paul Brown on fresh tires running him down. So some cat-mouse game, and it may not have worked out for the 21 car. We'll see. This race isn't over, but the 21 does not want to let this 70 by. And I think it's only a matter of time here. Paul Brown clearly on fresh tires. Run these guys down from about 20 seconds back, and now closing in here, trying to take the race lead on Luca Simfner. Can Luca hold on? I think the answer is a big fat no, as the 70 car looking to try to get around the 21. 21 to Luca Simfner is going to leave that door open there for the 70. The 70 down to the bottom line here. This may be the race-winning pass here. Paul Brown taking over that position. So that Ridge Runners Racing Mountain Dew sponsor machine now back to the front as Luca Simfner diving down to the bottom side here, and I don't think that's going to work for him. There's Paul Brown in the 70 now with 12 laps to go. The race leader, Bardelli Jr., comes off the turn and smacks the wall. Ed Palumbo getting by. Now, Ed Palumbo is, he had served a drive-through penalty and in that 54, and now running in the 5th position, 1 lap down. So Paul Brown back to the lead. He's been a strong car all night long. Got sort of mired back in traffic here with the, that second stint there. He did not have a very good car, made some adjustments, and made that pit stop, gambled, figuring everybody else was going to stay out and try to go the rest of the way, and uses these fresh tires, run these guys down, and now starting to run away here. Now 2 seconds ahead of P2. Ed Palumbo on fresh tire here is going to get by and maybe get that lap back. So now Ed Palumbo maybe sets his sights on John Stanley in the 12 car to try to pick up a position. Take a look at Ed Palumbo here in the 54 car. So Paul Brown, our race leader, pretty comfortable lead now for him. He's got to feel pretty good about his position. Look at this side by side. John Stanley in 4th, trying to hang on there as Ed Palumbo starting to breathe down his neck a little bit. John Stanley sideways right there as the 54 of Ed Palumbo closing in. He's closing out this race, and I'll tell you what, that's getting tight. John Stanley, is he going to be able to hold on to that spot as Ed Palumbo has caught him? This is a good race here for P4 as Ed Palumbo trying to climb back there and recover after having to do a drive-through. Having a good battle here with John Stanley. John Stanley was sideways as the 54 now closing in on him. 54 on a little bit fresher tires here. So good battle here for the 4th position as Ed Palumbo and that Mellow Yellow sponsor machine down to the bottom side. It's the 12 of John Stanley trying to hold him off. Here on lap 195. And Palumbo here might end up laying that horn there, that chrome horn to the back end of that 12 car and let him know he's there. So far here, no change. Paul Brown here on to maybe the race victory here. I'll tell you what, we might have had a little bit of a fisticuffs right there. Palumbo, John Stanley might have gotten together. It's a little bit earlier there, but I think John Stanley and Ed Palumbo might have had some contact. Got 3 laps to go, and Ed Palumbo is wanting around this 12 car, and I think he's going to make contact with the 12. So about 3 laps to go now as, tell you what, Ed Palumbo, John Stanley, maybe a little bit of contact. Ed Palumbo not able to, looks like he ended up getting his pass here, but I tell you what, John Stanley was holding on to that thing, and Ed Palumbo ends up getting by. I'll tell you what, we cross the start-finish line. We're going to have 2 to go here as Paul Brown pitted that car, took a little bit of a gamble. And now it looks like he's going to be able to pull off this victory here. Now rolling back around, and that just shows you how fast his car is here on fresh tires. He's coming back around here to John Stanley again. These guys want to stay on that lead lap, race it out as he's got 1 lap to go here in the 70 car. I'd let those guys race it out. John Stanley diving down there and trying to get around Ed Palumbo. Not going to do that this time by. He's got 1 more turn to do. I'd try that, I think. As now Paul Brown here in the 70 car makes that final turn, comes down the straightaway in this Mountain Dew sponsor number 70 car. Paul Brown going to take the victory here at Phoenix. So the 70 of Paul Brown pulls off the win here in the Mountain Dew sponsor machine. So congratulations to Paul Brown on getting that race win. Lucas Sinfiner finishes in second. Claudio Bardelli finishes in the 3rd position. And we'll see here for this race here for the finish. Looks like Ed Palumbo ends up finishes in the 4th position, and John Stanley finishes in the 5th spot. This guy's having a little bit of a conversation here after the race. Interesting there as Paul Brown does his burnout. We'll take a look at the finishing results as Paul Brown does his burnout. Paul Brown gets the race win. Lucas Sinfiner 2nd. Claudio Bardelli Jr. 3rd. Ed Palumbo finishes in the 4th position. John Stanley finishes 5th. Reese Canaday 6th. Jesus Iglesias finishes in the 7th position. Will Dunbar finishes in the 8th spot. Preston Hassel 9th. Tim Lansbury finishes in the 10th position. In 11th is Gilmar Peixoto, and Ernan Gio finishes in the 12th spot. So congratulations to Paul Brown on getting the race win here at Phoenix. In the Saturday Night Thunder, a little bit of a messy race, I'll be honest with you here. Kind of disappointed in some of the guys that weren't able to finish this race, but we'll have to do a little debrief and figure out what's going on with that. We'll see if we can get Paul Brown up here in the booth with us and have a little chat. All right, Paul Brown joining us up here in the broadcast booth. The 70 car, man, I kind of wonder here with that pit strategy, were you really wondering whether you were going to be able to catch those guys?
I was actually trying to figure it out in my head. Like, if I go too early, I'm not going to have enough tires left. If I go too late, I'm not going to have enough time left. I didn't have enough fuel. What am I going to do? I, rolled the dice and it worked out, but just barely. Those guys were strong still at the end. Like, wow.
Yeah, the two guys here running 1-2, Bardelli Jr. and Luca, of course. When you sort of caught up to them, you had the lap car, 12 John Stanley sort of to deal with, and that wasn't an easy pass to make.
No, they were still very strong.
And this is a little bit of a long race here, a little bit of a messy race. Do you feel like the car was just a little bit of a long race, a little bit of a messy race? Do you feel like the car, the setup, the thing was just a little slick for some of these guys, or what?
It was. It wasn't the typical Phoenix, and I'm not sure why. It was slippery right from the beginning. So I'm not sure what the whole story was there, but yeah, it was a tough race, and a lot of guys were driving too hard, including myself in the beginning. Took some time to settle down, and I don't know. Wish we could have done better.
Like, it was pretty hard to pass, and guys were making some, kind of some gambles down to the bottom line, kind of drifting up and getting into some of the other drivers there. And then also maybe staying in the gas a little bit too long and slamming the wall coming off the turn. This is a track I feel like it's deceptive. It seems like it's a very easy track to drive, but, once the tires wear out, this thing gets pretty slick.
Yep, and it doesn't take long. I mean, you can have a great car for 5 laps, and then the 6th lap, it fell apart on you. It happens really fast.
Well, next week we have Atlanta Motor Speedway, and that's another track, too. I think guys can really get a lot of speed, of course, but also have a kind of a false sense of security at that track. How do you feel coming into Atlanta with this race win?
Yep. Atlanta, a lot like the others, is going to be a very loose track as the laps progress. Be a handful. Should be fun.
And to say that Atlanta is going to give us somewhat of a break is probably not something somebody would believe unless they saw the next 3 tracks on the schedule, and they're all short tracks.
Right. Yeah, we got some long races coming up, too.
If anybody's got anything to say about the schedule, they can always see Ed Palumbo about that one.
Oh, we will. We'll take him out back and kick him around a little bit.
Kick the mellow out of his yellow?
No, it's cool. It's a lot of laps, but it's fun.
All right, man. Well, hey, congratulations. Way to see. Good to see that Mountain Dew sponsor machine back in victory lane, and good luck to you at Atlanta.
Thanks, Heath.
All right, that's Paul Brown here. He's backing off from Ed Palumbo. He didn't back me on that kick the mellow out of the yellow comment, because he knows he's going to have to pay the price there on the track. If you poke the hornet's nest, right? You poke the bear, so to speak. There we go. That's probably the best way. You poke the bear, you're going to get the claws and the teeth. So, we're all good friends, and good little friendly rivalries going on there. So, again, good race there. A little bit of messy race. I'm a little disappointed in some of the guys that weren't able to finish, and that's a kind of an unfortunate circumstance. But those happen once in a while. So next week we have Atlanta Motor Speedway. That'll be a popular track, I think. So excited to see that track coming up next week here in the Saturday Night Thunder. Speaking of next week, we'll be back at it with the High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series. That's right, race number 8, 35 laps from Riverside. Great track, great road course. And really excited to see these Xfinity cars out on the track here, mixing it up for 35 laps next week. Streaming starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so that's Friday, March the 2nd, or March the 12th, right here on TurnLeftTV. And then the very next day, we're going to be back at it with the High Octane Racing League GT3 Series. Dubai Autodrome. I had the car out there on the track today. Just taking a look at it. Really, really like this track. There's a lot of room to race here. It is kind of a technical track, but I'll tell you what, man, high speed, no time to rest at this track, I can promise you. So very good track coming up in the GT3 Series at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, March the 13th. I want to say thank you so much for coming out to the YouTube channel and checking out TurnLeftTV. We had a little bit of a messy race here tonight. Man, we've been racing all day long. We're going to be able to sleep well tonight, huh? And wake up for a nice lazy Sunday. Maybe watching who knows what. Racing on TV. But hey, thanks for coming out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. If you'd like to make a donation to TurnLeftTV, you can click on the link up in the banner of the channel and make a donation right through PayPal. Don't forget to go down to the description of this race and click on those links there to EliteHostingUSA.com if you're interested in a race server. And then also help me out there by clicking on that link to follow that over to the Fanatec website and give those guys a look and help me out if you're interested in purchasing some stuff. I also have a donate button down in the description of this race too, where you can make a donation through PayPal to me here at TurnLeftTV. And again, thank you so much for coming in. It's been a good little weekend for us here, and that's going to be a lazy Sunday tomorrow. I can promise you that. Well, boys and girls, until next time, we'll see you on Friday in the Bushwhacker Series. Until then, I am out of here.